Hello, welcome back. Danny Cobbin with another vlog. Trying something different this week. Someone shot me a question this week and I thought I would answer it. And they asked, what is setback? And before I got to jumping on the deep end of what setback was, I thought I'd give an opportunity to do a little research. What is setback? The delay or impediment of progress of someone or something. What does getting set back mean? Click that. A setback is an event that makes you lose progress or keeps you from gaining ground. I thought that was super interesting. Setback was just a process of delaying the result. How do I know personally the difference between a setback and a setup? I'm not at the beginning of the journey anymore. It seems like I'm at the beginning of the journey, right? Because we just started the podcast. But the 37 years of life that led to this, how many ever years of life have led you to the point that you are at now? And the point that you're at now is actually exactly where you're supposed to be at. Everybody here knows, and if you don't, if you're new, I'm going to tell you now about my biggest setback when I woke up and half of my face stopped working. Why did it stop working? I stressed myself out. Why did I stress myself out? I was in search of trying to be the best that I could possibly be. And the only way that I knew to be the best that I could possibly be was to continue to go down the road the way that I was going down the road. Because all the gurus at the time that I was listening to, and I don't know if this is because I just couldn't hear anybody else, or if wasn't anybody else. It couldn't be that nobody else was talking about this, because clearly other people were talking about this, right? When you have a setback, you want to bust through those setbacks. And in hearing that, what I was hearing was get yourself mentally and physically in such a state that you're fired up and ready to run through a wall. And I was ready to run through the wall. I was ready to run through the wall. And because I was ready to run through the wall, my nervous system was at such this point where it started to shut down on me. And then it did shut down on me. And that was the biggest setback that I had. The most recent setback has been thinking that I had to stress and struggle my way through it. And it didn't work. I was no closer to my goal after stressing and struggling my way through it than I was before when I was just oblivious to it. So when I started looking at my whole life and the goal of I'm looking at life goal, right? Because the podcast is DC 360. The vlog that you're watching right now is a ramble about what I'm seeing in a 360 degrees. That's why I love questions, because setback looks different to me now than it did before. Setback before was stress, push, hope for the best, push, get upset with the fact that it wasn't working. Setback is just different now, man. It's just different ever since I stressed myself out. And I know a certain amount of stress seems good. A certain amount of stress seems optimal for each and every one of us to operate and move through life. And that's why we feel like we're being set back by different things in life. Whether that is on our physical journey, on our mental journey, on anything and everything in between. Because when we start to look at the setbacks that we have, it's actually the setbacks that make the journey, they clarify the journey in a way. The setbacks allow us to take a look at some of the things that are occurring in our lives and really reevaluate them. Because if it's a setback, there's something there inside of that thing that we are actually wanting to achieve. For me, the thing that stopped me was stress. I thought it was Bell's palsy, but when you really look at the thing that's actual setback, The setback was that I thought that I could stress myself out to move myself forward. And that can show up in a lot of ways, but what we believe as a society, if we stress ourselves out, we will move ourselves forward. And that works at a certain level. But when it starts to become the things that we truly want, like if we truly want to lose the weight, if we truly want to gain the clarity, if we truly want to be the better dad, we want to experience our partner more. Those things, they come with these certain level of setbacks. But because we want them, the setback doesn't look like something that we have to necessarily overcome anymore. Because it's now a part of the journey. And the goal is not actually the goal. So let's pretend like the goal is I want to lose weight. And if the goal is that I want to lose weight and I continue to have different types of setbacks, whether that's not losing the amount of weight that I want that week, it could be that I did not get the right amount of sleep. It could even be as simple as that. Let's say that some of those things come into our existence and in our way. And then we stop the progress of moving forward because we're now in our head about what this does or doesn't mean about my progress forward. And that's just it. We start looking at the journey as the goal, not the goal itself. Things like not getting our nutrition right, not hitting the amount of days we want to get to the gym because of work or this or that. We start to find different ways to integrate the things that we really like and want into our day. We can choose the time to beat ourselves up, which is amount of time. So let's say that I spend 4 minutes beating myself up about not eating right. I beat myself about not getting to the gym. Let's say I spend 10 minutes doing that, right? Like throughout the day, I spend 15 minutes, 10 seconds there, 20 seconds there. Like, all I'm doing is just continually thinking about the setback. I lose sight and I stop taking action on the actual goal. So, in my experience, it's not the setback itself that stops us from striving on up the mountain.